Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Usman Hamid, and together with my group partner,
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Awais Saleem.
and the topic of our presentation today is reviews in SQA. I'll be covering the first half of the presentation, and Awais will be covering the second half of the presentation. And with that,
Yes.
let's start with the presentation. Hey everyone, and welcome to my section of the presentation. So before we start off, we need some background information about what makes reviews so special. So, as software is continuing to be a part of our daily lives, more and more companies are starting to see that the capability of developing and maintaining software that is reliable as a competitive advantage. What that means is that software is becoming so important in our lives is that many companies are adopting it because they see a competitive advantage in it over other companies and other products that we use on a daily basis. But many companies are still releasing software that is full of defects. To push software products development towards engineering level precision, organizations must use quality enhancing tools, techniques, and methods right from the start of a project. And if we don't do that, we end up with a faulty or defective product, which in the end doesn't sell well or doesn't gain the popularity that it needs. And the company eventually just ends it off or cuts it off from production. So, one of the most popular methods of assuring a product is going to be successful or not, or ensuring that it has quality, is a quality assurance method which is called reviews, which we will discuss in extent. This will include the various types of reviews, their differences, the advantages and disadvantages that they have over each other, what different processes are included in each review as well. So, moving on. What is a review? So, according to the IEEE definition of a review, a process or meeting during which a work product or set of work products is presented to project personnel, managers, users, customers, or other interested parties for comment or approval. In layman terms, what that means is that when a product is being made and during the different development phases, each phase goes through this section of being approved or not being approved or being semi-approved, and all those people that are involved in these approval or disapproval are basically the project personnel, the managers, the users, and customers, and other stakeholders as well. So, when we talk about reviews in the context of software, what we mean is that the software is going to be inspected or examined in a systematic way by one or more individuals, those individuals being the personnel, managers, users, customers, or stakeholders, who would work together with the goal of finding and resolving errors or defects detected in the software during the multiple stages of SDLC. Now, those multiple stages that I talked about earlier are the SDLC stages, which is the software development lifecycle. The different phases, such as planning, executing, designing, coding, then testing, and then uploading, then maintaining. They're all the different phases that have reviews in them. It is an important part of the SDLC which helps developers validate the quality, functionality, and other features of the software. It is a complete process that includes things like testing the software product, verifying documents like SRS. SRS is the software requirement specifications document. Design documents, test plans, and test cases. Test cases being the environment that the software is going to be tested in to verify certain functionality or requirements. The reviews are usually performed manually, but static analysis of tools is usually performed using other testing tools as well. All right, moving on. In reviews, we have two major types of reviews, which is the formal reviews and the informal reviews. Uh, excuse me. So the formal reviews, just to give you a basic rundown, has three main types, which is the FDR, formal design review, peer reviews, and expert opinions, which I'm not going to be going into since that is OS as part of the presentation. And we have informal reviews. So by definitions, reviews can be formal or informal. In informal reviews, roles are not defined and the process is ad hoc. The least formal reviews include hallway conversation, pair programming, and simply passing a product around. So what that means is that in informal reviews, we basically have people just presenting the design documents or any sort of document that is involved during the development phase and just asking for opinions or just basically talking about something, just gaining new ideas. So it's like having someone at a tea party and just asking them if they like this product or not, or what kind of defects do they find in it. It's not something that's formally done or it's not even written down or anything. It's just completely talking about the product in general. And then we have formal reviews. More formal reviews are planned and defined ahead of time, and their outcomes are used to improve development processes. In formal reviews, we basically have a planned schedule, a planned place of time where people are going to be coming and the exact amount of people that are going to be joining. The stakeholders and all the people that are involved are pre-planned, and they are given a set amount of time that they have to appear at this moment, and they all talk about the product in stages. They go through each and every single phase of it, and they bring out defects and new errors about it to see if that they can improve it, or maybe if there's no improvement required, they can approve the development of the next phase as well. The major difference between the two types of reviews is that informal reviews are not documented, while formal reviews involve a lot of documentation. Objectives of reviews. Why do we even do reviews? What is the need of doing reviews? Well, if you go back to the introduction of the presentation, if you'll notice that I said that companies sometimes produce defective products, or sometimes they produce products that don't have the same amount of quality metric that they're supposed to have to ensure success. So these are some of the objectives of reviews: to detect analysis and design errors, to identify new risks that are likely to affect the project, to locate deviations from standards, templates, and conventions, to approve the analysis and design product, to provide an informal meeting place for exchange of knowledge about methods, tools, and techniques, to record analysis and design errors that will help and serve as a basis for future corrective actions. Right. So these are some of the major and basic objectives of reviews. So this kind of brings me to the end of my section of the presentation, review methodologies. As I stated before, there are several methodologies that can be implemented when reviewing. We are going to discuss the following, and they come under formal reviews, which is FDR, which is short for formal design reviews, peer reviews, and expert opinions. So thank you so much for joining in for my part of the presentation, and now we're going to be transitioning over to Awais's part. Thank you.
Thank you, Usman. Now I will continue my part of the presentation. I'm going to talk about formal design review. As Usman talked, there are many methodologies. One of them is formal design review. Formal design review is the only review or instrument that differs from other reviews by being only one which is required for approval of a design product. Other reviews do not focus on approval of design products, but FDR it is very focused on that. FDRs may be conducted at any development milestone or requiring completion of an analysis or design document, whether that document is a requirement specification or an installation plan. It basically means is that FDRs can be conducted at any stage of the development milestone. Like suppose you are finding SRS plan or design plan or a specification plan, you can do a formal design review session to inspect it. It is not like an issue in that. Now I'm going to talk about what FDR focuses on. What are the formal design reviews, like what it focuses? It focuses on four things written down below as participants, the prior preparations, the design review session, and the recommended post-DR activities. It is the four things that the FDR will focus on. I will go on one by one to all of them. Now, first of all, the participants. Now, the participants, first of all, the review leader. It is required that a review leader needs to be external to the project team. He needs not to be in the project team, but an external member. He should also have knowledge and experience in development of the review type, and also he should be very senior. At least he should be that senior, like he's the project leader's level senior. And also good relations also help. Review team. The review team is usually comprised of senior members of the team or other department members. And also the team size is normally 3 to 5 members, because if the review team size is too big, then it will be hard to manage, coordinate. And also development team. Who are the participants in the development team? These are the ones who are designing the product or the artifact. Now go on to the next slide, prior preparations. Prior preparation. Review leader needs to appoint team members. He needs to establish schedules, distribute design documents, basically creates an agenda. What happened, what will happen, who is the team member, etc. The review team, they will review the documents and they will list down comments prior to the session, and also they will also complete a checklist, like what should be done, what shouldn't be done, and etc. The development team, on the other hand, will prepare a short presentation, and that presentation has to focus on highlights of the main issues. Doesn't need to involve things uh, like things like the process, describing the process. You shouldn't focus on that. should focus on the main issues. Next slide. Design review session. Now, what will happen in this session? The review leader is the key person. That is one thing. There will be a short presentation done by the development team, and the review team will write down comments to that presentation and the document. They will write down comments like what actions are required, and also after this session, a decision will be made which either in three things: full approval, partial approval, or no denial of approval. Full approval, go ahead, everything is fine, go to the next stage. Partial of approval, it means that some parts are allowed to go to the next stage, but some parts are not that good. They need to be reviewed again, fixed, and blah. Denial of approval, it means that the product wasn't allowed to go to the next stage. Again, whole process will be repeated if there is a denial of approval. Now, post DR activities. Now, like after the design review, what activities are done? One activity, mainly one is done. A design review report will be generated. It will contain like a summary of the discussions, the decision on the product, like full approval, no approval, etc. Also, it will write down actions that are required, like what changes have to be done, and also like it will write about the names or team members that are assigned to follow up on the corrections, like to make sure that corrections happen. That is a post DR activities. It explains everything. And that is all about formal design review. Now, this is the diagram. It basically allows you to help to understand the whole process. Everything we talked about before, it is in this diagram. As you can see, development team prepares design document, prepares presentation. Review leader appoints members, schedules review, prepare agenda. Review team reads the document, writes down comments. A session is done. Review report is done. Is the document approved? Yes. Formal full approval. No. No approval. Partial approval. Correction made. Carried to the next development stage. Everything is explained. You can see the diagram. You will understand. Now next, peer reviews. Now peer reviews. Basically, if you see the word peer review, you understand easily. Peer review, you ask your peers like to do a review, and it is a process of assessing the technical content and the quality of the product, and it is usually conducted by the author of the work product along with some other developers. First of all, that it means basically that the author of the product or the whatever the review is being done on, it's conducted by him. And some other developers or peers are given the product so they can give their opinion review on it. I listed down five types of software peer reviews. One of them pair programming. Self-explanatory, as it's very easy. It is used in extreme programming, quite famous example. Pair programming is done there. Two people code at the same station. They find defects. One of type of peer review. And inspection. It is very important. Inspection is the only formal type of review in peer reviews. It is in this person has to go through defines the set of instructions steps to find defects. There's many roles given to the participants, like a moderator, a reviewer, a recorder. There's also a checklist maintained. There are also follow-up corrections written down what should be done. It happens in inspection. Technical review, in very qualified person are allowed given the product. They examine the product, they give their what they find, what their opinion, etc. Walkthrough. Compared to inspection, walkthrough is not that formal. First of all, compared to like inspection, uh, there is no follow-up of corrections. There's no checklist. There's no even a formal training of the participants required. In like in inspection, formal trainings are required of the participants performing the review. But in walkthroughs, nothing is required like that. There's no like a follow-up required, as I talked about in inspection. In walkthrough, like it's like not that formal. Code review is quite simple. You review the code, examine the code, find the bugs. Very simple. Next slide, I will go. Expert opinion. Now, finally, expert opinion. Many experts support quality evaluation by adding additional capabilities for the internal review staff in the team. It basically means that the internal review staff might have specific capabilities, but they might not know some type of capability. So you can add experts, opinions, expert people to the team who are external, and you can increase the capability. Like suppose you don't know machine learning in the review team, but you add an external person who knows machine learning. Now your capabilities increase. Now when we done get expert opinions, there needs to be conditions. Only then they are allowed to be added. First, lack of in-house professional capabilities in a specialized area. As I said before, machine learning, there's no person who knows machine learning. You add an external member who knows machine learning. Voila, you did good. Temporary lack of review members in a team. There's a lack of review members in a team temporarily because some of them might go to other projects. So you can add an external person to fix the issue. There's a major disagreements among the organization review team. Like there's no productive thing happening. Everybody is disagreeing. So you can add an external viewpoint, like external person to give an opinion, like what should we do. That is also possible. The review team is of small size. There's a chance the review team might be so small that the capabilities, everything is lacking. Reviewers are very lacking. You can add external members, external expert opinions, so to increase the quality of the reviewers. That's also a reason. Uh, and this is like our topic. Thank you so much. Me and Usman worked very hard. Hopefully, you would like this presentation. Allah Hafiz.